UFC 324 is in the books, and let's talk about it. Let's talk all the things that went right, all the things that went wrong. Let's talk about the fights and the Paramount production that has been a little tumultuous. By the way, sorry, the lighting's terrible right now. I recorded this video right before the sun set, and then I realized I didn't record my audio, so I'm just running it back. But let's do this, guys. First fight of the night, Fugit versus Miller. Honestly, Miller looked pretty good. He did get 100K, as did Josh Hokit. 459 KOs in a row. Both those KOs weren't against amazing competition, but Fugit has, some good losses against Michael Morales and Mike Malott. He's facing pretty good competition. Miller looks a little undersized at 170, but it's his first fight in the UFC. I'm not going to dog on him too much. He looked pretty good. I was excited for Johnson versus Hernandez, but that fight unfortunately got canceled after some irregular betting activity, similar to the Isaac Bulgarian situation back in 2025. But let's move on to Perez versus Johnson. Perez did miss weight, but he finished Johnson. Kind of sucks to see him. A big fan of Johnson. I thought the stoppage was a little early. Johnson has been cracked pretty bad in the past, and he has came back, but it is what it is. Perez really needed this win or else he was going to get cut, so I guess I feel happy for Perez, but just sucks as a Charles Johnson fan. Next up, Krylov versus Bukauskas. Similar situation. I was rooting for Bukauskas here. He was doing pretty good up until he wasn't, and he got finished very late in the third round, but he kind of does have to go back to the drawing board a bit. He did not look incredible against a pretty washed Nikita Krylov, but he'll be fine. He'll bounce back. He's still very young. Next up, Gaethje. Gaethje had an interesting performance. He almost finished Puliaev in the first round, and then just didn't, let him stand up for whatever reason, and proceeded to just kind of slowly punch him every now and then to a decision. Puliaev didn't do much, but he did a good job of avoiding all the shots from Gaethje. Gaethje landed some pretty good ones on him, dropped him like twice, I'm pretty sure, but it still shows Gaethje's a little green. If he fights like that against Marvin Vettori, who he did call out, I think Marvin Vettori has a pretty good chance to beat him. Gaethje really needs to focus on knowing how to cut off the cage like that and landing that big shot, because he found a big shot here, but it didn't finish him the fight. And then he just, resorted to just winning a pretty boring decision. So Gaethje's hype train is a little bit derailed as of now. Still, he said he's happy to get 15 minutes of octagon experience, and I agree with him, because 15 minutes is a lot. His current UFC fight time is like 6 minutes, so he's in there for a while. He's gonna be better next time. It's all good. Next up, Nurmagomedov versus Figueredo. Figueredo missed weight, didn't look very good. He's, a little over the hill. He looked pretty good in some of his fights last year, but he just did not look amazing here. Nurmagomedov kind of shut him down 30-27. But guys, Nurmagomedov has to finish fights, man. He's not gonna get a title shot fighting like this. He fought exactly the same against Mario Bautista. Even Islam and Khabib were trolling him, saying he just came back from a sparring session last night. But man, it's his fault too that it was a sparring session. He had no urgency to finish the fight. He just kind of coasts and wins the decision. That's not enough to be a champion these days, especially in the Paramount era where they're incentivizing you to knock people out with literal thousands and thousands of dollars. Next up, Allen versus Silva. This fight was an absolute banger, boys. Sucks to see Allen lose. He kind of gassed down that third round, but Silva looked pretty darn good, looked improved. He looked more measured, more technical than he did against Diego Lopez, and he still went crazy and did some crazy things, especially jumping on his back in the third round and stuff like that. In the third round, he really started to shine, while as Allen kind of started to dwindle a little bit, and he won himself a nice decision. I don't know if it's going to get him a title shot, but it's a step in the right direction for Silva. Again, sucks to see as an Allen fan, but this was the fight of the night up until the main event. Next up, Silva versus Namajunas. I saw a lot of people say that Silva got robbed. I disagree. I thought she won that fight, but it was very close. Silva needs to win her fights more decisively and go for finishes. I did compare it to Umar Nurmagomedov. They're both like Taekwondo style strikers that don't possess a lot of power. Entertaining to watch, but I don't know if that's what gets title shots. She probably will get the title shot just because there's no one else, but I'm pretty worried because I think Shevchenko might use her wrestling and pretty much control her and dominate her like she did against Zhang Weili, because Namajunas took down Silva in the second round and controlled her for 5 minutes, and Shevchenko is a way better grappler than Rose. Silva looked great against Alexa Grasso, looked pretty good here, but pretty good is not enough to beat one of the GOATs, Valentina Shevchenko, so I'm a little worried for her, but I'm sure she's going to improve and go back to drawing board after this fight, and she won. Next up, Waldo Corteza Costa versus Derek Lewis. This fight went exactly how I thought it would. Derek Lewis looked pretty terrible here. Unfortunately, he looks like he's a little bit over the hill. He just kind of gave up there, just kind of got dropped, but it was more of a slip. Maybe he was sweaty or something. Maybe his balance sucks, but he just kind of gave up the finish there. He's like, I would like to get finished right now, please. series. Waldo just pounded on him. Waldo's probably gonna get a title shot next, and Lewis is probably gonna fight like Josh Hoket at the White House or something if he doesn't retire. Next up, co-main event, Sean O'Malley versus Song Yadong. I saw a lot of people say that Song Yadong got robbed. I disagreed while I was watching the fight. I thought Sean won that pretty decisively. I don't think it was a fantastic performance from him. I don't know if it really deserves him a title shot. Maybe Merab is gonna lap him and get a title shot, but knowing the UFC, knowing Paramount, they'll probably give it to Sean anyways. But Song just didn't do enough there, guys. Song didn't really adapt. He kind of got worse as the fight went on, and Sean pretty much stayed doing the same thing, and it was working, so he won. Man, what else is there to say? It wasn't the most entertaining fight in the world, but it wasn't that horrible anyways. So yeah, classic Sean O'Malley. When he's not getting grappled, he's pretty good, pretty fun to watch, but just didn't find that knockout shot. And the main event, guys, Justin Gaethje versus Paddy Pimblett was an absolute war. I was wrong. I picked Paddy, but hey man, it was a sort of close fight. Paddy won 1 or 2 rounds, one decisively, a second one sorta. Gaethje looked good, man. He looked a little old, but all of his chaos really put it on Paddy. He just pressured him for 5 rounds straight except for 1, and just absolutely dominated him on the stand-up. Paddy was coming back with shots. Paddy was moving forward sometimes, but Paddy's shots were kind of like this. He wasn't really loading up any power punches, probably didn't really hurt him too much, and Gaethje was loading up with every single shot like he always does, and it looked like vintage Gaethje, guys. Unfortunately, I do think he's going to get annihilated by Ilia Topuria because he's not John Jones. He's not gonna duck the champion, and Ilia is not going to duck the interim champion, so that's the fight that's next, and I'm a little worried, but maybe we have ourselves a White House main event. That's probably where it's going to go. I saw Gaethje say that this fight is kind of similar to Gaethje versus Alvarez, but the roles are reversed, as in Paddy is Gaethje and Gaethje is Alvarez now.
You know, so the moment I stepped in there, he didn't take his eyes off me. That was me not too long ago, and I guess I was Eddie Alvarez here to teach him a lesson. Same thing he did to me.
Because Alvarez was the older guy and Gaethje was the young buck who was throwing crazy shots and got kind of dominated by the older, more experienced fighter. But he said, just like he did, that Paddy will bounce back, and he's just still very young and his career will be completely fine. And I agree, man, this is a learning experience for Paddy. He did have some success, but man, his chaotic style just isn't as good as Gaethje's chaotic style. He didn't really use that grappling. This was similar to the Bilal JDM fight where, you know, he wanted to show his Canelo hands, and he did put on a fun fight for the fans, but he lost. So yeah, guys, the fight was very, very good. Fight of the year contender, obviously. It's the fight of the year right now, but even a few months down the line, it's probably going to be a fight of the year contender. It was a great fight. Exactly how I predicted that it was going to be a banger, a close banger, back and forth, but I honestly thought Paddy would win. He didn't. It's all good. Props to Gaethje, man. Now let's talk about the Paramount production real quick, because boys, the ads were insane. Like, I know they have to justify the $8 a month price point. They have to put ads. They need to make money. They're probably still losing money on the $7 billion deal anyways. Ads during walkouts and in between rounds on the main card is ridiculous. On the prelims, sure, make your money, whatever, but there was so many ads on the main card, on the prelims, everywhere. In between fights, I don't mind, but dude, in between like almost every round, that is just terrible, guys. Like, please don't do this. Like, I know if we're loud enough, the UFC will change it. Dana himself said it's a work in progress, so I will be loud about it. I really didn't like the sheer amount of ads, especially the Paramount ads. I don't know what it was like for you guys, but I just kept getting Dexter ads over and over again. Seems like that's the only show they have. I saw Dexter's face like 50 times that night. I just really did not enjoy the ads. But let's talk about the rest of Paramount production. I thought the promos were pretty good. The Max Holloway promo, the promo with the belt, I don't know, some other promos they showed, but they were pretty good. Like, they were better than normal. Promo's a promo. They're all kind of a little corporate, little average, but these ones were a step up. I think Paramount's resources maybe brought some people in that are making cool promos, because they were honestly really enjoyable to watch in between fights when there weren't ads. And obviously, I'd rather see those than ads. Also, the desk analyst stuff with, you know, Michael Bisping and Dominic Cruz yapping, that seemed like it got stepped up in production a little bit, became a little more important. It's always been around, but there's a little bit more yapping, which I like. I enjoyed that as well, again, as long as I'm not watching ads. That was also pretty cool. So yeah, Paramount, the production maybe got a little better. Honestly, it's relatively the same, which is probably a good thing. You know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Besides the ads, I think it is a step up, but let me know what you guys think. Was this event a train wreck? Was it fantastic? Was it everything you've ever dreamed of? I thought the fights were pretty good. The production leaves a little bit to be desired, but I thought it was a bit of a step up, honestly. I know they're gonna work out the kinks, so it's gonna get even better, but I don't know about you guys. I like the production for the most part. Let me know what you guys think. I did this video unscripted, and this is my second time recording it, so I'm a lower energy than the first time because it's already late at night, but I wanted to get this video out. Let me know what you guys think about the fights. Let me know what you guys think about the production, and see ya. Matchmaker Monday tomorrow.